Hello, Oilers fans. Austin here, and welcome to today's pregame report between the Edmonton Oilers and the Dallas Stars. The Oilers finally made it home after that grueling 7 games in 12-day road trip that they were just finished against Florida with a 6-3 win. They managed to get home, sleep in their own beds for a couple of nights, couple days off, and now they're back at it tonight in the only game on the NHL schedule. And even though the Oilers had a couple days off, I also took a couple days off. I hope you've all been doing well. I do apologize for no uploads over the last 2 days. I think it was just good for all of us to just kind of take a break from hockey and also feel good about that win against Florida. But that win against Florida 3 nights ago will not matter if this team comes out and looks lethargic against Dallas. You have to find a way to make sure that you are still playing good, that you are building your game, and that you are building from that. The game against Washington, Tampa, and then Florida, that's 3 games in a row. I've liked Edmonton's effort. They only have 1 win to show for in those 3 games, but if they keep playing like they have, the wins are going to start coming in probably large waves here. So let's see if the Oilers can get the job done against a Mikko Rantanen-less Dallas Stars. Yes, Mikko Rantanen is not in the lineup tonight. He will be serving an automatic 1-game suspension. I did not realize that the league had this rule. If you have 2 5-minute major game misconduct penalties in a 41-game span, you get an automatic 1-game suspension. And Mikko Rantanen had 2 games in a row where he hit a guy from behind, was given a 5-minute major and a game misconduct. So Rantanen, he has to serve a 1-game automatic suspension, because if the automatic suspension was not in the rule book, George Parros would be looking at those hits and being like, you know what? I like this guy. He plays really strong hockey, and I'm not going to do anything about it because Department of Player Safety is the biggest joke in the National Hockey League. So if you enjoyed today's pregame report, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. No live stream tonight. I will not be doing a live stream tonight. I may do a stream on Saturday for the game against Seattle, because the Oilers, they played tonight, and then they have 3 days off, and then they play Seattle on Saturday before starting a 5-game homestand. So for Edmonton, it's 1 game at home, then you're back on the road, but you're not really like traveling a whole bunch. Seattle's not a super far flight, so I think the boys are going to be just fine. Let's see how the lineups stack up tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. Now, this is just a projection. I don't imagine too much is going to change. There was word that Nugent-Hopkins may be available for tonight, but Chris Knobloch, not too long ago, before I hit the record button on this video, stated that Nugent-Hopkins will not play. He is aiming for Saturday against Seattle. No Wallman tonight. No Phil, no Lazar, so the Oilers are still dealing with the injuries up front, and then, of course, Wallman on the back end. Top line looks to be Savoy, McDavid, and Roslovic, which they continue to play great. Matthew Savoy may have been Edmonton's best player against the Florida Panthers, and the only point that he got was scoring an empty net goal. So for Matthew Savoy, though, we know that his style of game is really starting to round in formation, and Chris Knobloch trusts Savoy in defensive situations. He trusts him on the penalty kill, trust them to defend a lead with the net empty when the other team's pressing, like Florida was. Matthew Savoy, the offense is going to arrive. I like his speed. I like how quickly he's able to get in on defenders and cut off angles and really, he forces a lot of turnovers. He does a lot of good things on the ice. Matthew Savoy, player to watch tonight. Not the player to watch, but a player to watch. Roslovic, of course, continues to play very strong hockey. He had 2 goals against the Florida Panthers. Probably could have had 3 or 4 if he didn't fan on a couple great opportunities from setups. So we'll see how they do tonight. On the second line, you have Podkolzin, Draisaitl, and Mangiapane. Now, Podkolzin scored a beautiful goal right through the shoulder, right by the head of Sergei Bobrovsky. Podkolzin has a wicked shot. I talked about him extensively during the summer and during preseason. If he can just shoot the puck more. I want Podkolzin to use his shot because he has a great shot, very underrated shot in my opinion. If he shot it at a much higher frequency than what he does, he could be a 20, 25 goal scorer, right? Not saying that he would be, but he definitely could be. I'd like to see Podkolzin start ripping the puck more. Leon Draisaitl, obviously, he can shoot the puck or defer to his line mates. Andrew Mangiapane, do not like him on the second line. I find that he was kind of one of the only players that seemed not really invested in that Florida game. You never really noticed what Mangiapane was doing, which I guess can be a good thing if you're not noticing anything good or bad. I would prefer to see someone else up on that second line, maybe Zach Hyman, but we'll have to see how Knobloch rolls his lines tonight. Third line, you had Frederick with Henrique and Hyman. Frederick has been much more engaged. Hyman, since he entered the lineup, the whole team just as in general has looked more emotional, more physical, and that's a good sign. Zach Hyman, he definitely pulls on the rope and he forces everyone to pull on it with him. He is a workhorse. I don't mind him on the third line right now. I find he's been helping Frederick's game a lot. And Adam Henrique, he's just the responsible two-way forward on that line. Not expecting a whole lot of offense from Henrique, but we'll see how they do tonight. And on the fourth line, Connor Clattenburg looks to be playing in his second ever NHL game. He had one penalty against Florida, and he had a 2-on-1 as well. I forget who he was with where he had the 2-on-1, and he decided to shoot the puck, which I don't blame him. He's with Tomaszek and Matthias Janmark. I liked Clattenburg's game. He did not play much time on ice. I think it was like 5.5 minutes, so not super noticeable, but he wasn't doing anything poor on the ice, and we'll see if he gets a couple extra shifts tonight, and if he does, what is he going to do with those shifts? Tomaszek, I've liked his game a lot lately. Matthias Janmark, I don't know, man. He's just kind of here. On defense, Ekholm with Bouchard, they were both +5 the other night against the Panthers. They each had 3 points, and that's what you expect from your top pairing defensive group here. Ekholm and Bouchard played great, but they have to follow that up with another really good game in a row. You can't just have one good game and then revert into bad habits the next game. We're looking for consistency, not just from them, but from the entire group here. Are they able to build on that game against Florida, the game against Tampa, and the game against Washington? I certainly hope so. If they revert back to the Oilers of earlier this season tonight, big problems here. Nurse with Regula. I find Regula has looked very, very shaky lately. Have not been a big fan of his game. He earned his spot on this roster during preseason, and the first 2 games of the regular season, I thought he played great. He took those 2 big hits from Evander Kane, and since Regula has come back into the lineup from that likely concussion that he was dealing with, Regula just hasn't looked very comfortable out there, and he is more of a defensive defenseman. He's not going to put up a lot of points. He is big, but he's not using his size to cut angles off. He's not really good with his stick right now, and he's getting caught out of position a lot. So I'm looking for just a less chaotic game from Alec Regula. Darnell Nurse, I thought he's played some pretty good hockey over the last few games here, so hopefully he can keep that up. Then on the third pair, you have Kulak with Emberson. Kulak has been the definition of a tire fire this season. No offense to Brett Kulak. I love him. One of my favorite players on the team. This season has not really been very good for him. Ty Emberson, he's had some ups and downs throughout the year, but I've really liked his game as of late. I thought he was fantastic against the Panthers, so hopefully they can keep that strong play going. And in goal tonight, you got Stuart Skinner. Stu is getting the start. We need Dark Stu tonight if the Oilers are going to have a chance to win. I know Dallas is going to be without Mikko Rantanen, but the Dallas Stars have a lot of weapons up front, including Jason Robertson, who has 11 points in his last 5 games and 9 goals. Robertson has 9 goals in his last 5 games. That is absolutely wild. The Oilers' defense, they have a lot of work cut out for them tonight against the Stars. Now, when you take a look at the stats for both teams, the Dallas Stars, they are 13-5-4 on the season, which is fantastic. They're second in the Central, and they're actually pretty far back from the Colorado Avalanche because the Avs only have 1 regulation loss this season. Colorado is an absolute wagon. Dallas, they've been winning games, but there is signs that Dallas may not be as good as their record is implying. If you're the Oilers, maybe you can take advantage of this. I will talk about it. Dallas's power play ranks 2nd in the league. Their penalty kill ranks 25th. Goals per game ranks 7th. Goals against per game ranks 7th, which is very good. They get very good goaltending from Ottinger and Casey DeSmith. Now, the expected goals percentage, this is what I'm looking at here. They rank 21st in the league at 49.08%, and their shots for percentage ranks 26th at 47.45%. So Dallas, they are winning hockey games. They score goals. They don't give up a whole lot. But that doesn't mean that they've been driving the play. It doesn't mean that they don't deserve their wins, Stars fans. That's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is I would be very wary of how Dallas plays in the future, and I would be concerned about the long-term sustainability of what Dallas has done to start the year. They're riding a pretty high PDO right now. That's shooting percentage plus save percentage, and there are signs that they could start regressing. And hopefully the Oilers, maybe the start of the regression for Dallas can start tonight. Maybe Edmonton can capitalize on some opportunities, score a few goals. Because, like I mentioned against the Washington game, with their stats, Washington had some of the best analytics in the league, but they just weren't able to score goals. And I was like, watch out for Washington. They're due to kind of explode offensively. They ended up scoring 7 goals. Yes, 2 of them were in the empty net, but that's why we kind of look at the analytics sometimes. They can paint a different picture than what the actual just raw data is showing. For Dallas, not as good as a play driver as, in years past, they are finding ways to win games, and that's something the Oilers have not been able to do. So they're still a good team, not taking anything away from the Dallas Stars so far. But Dallas, they look like they're still trying to find their way at 5-on-5, and they are getting outshot pretty frequently this season. Their save percentage at 5-on-5 ranks fourth best in the league, 92.51% or a .925. That has been one of the big reasons why the Stars have been able to win the games that they are. So for the Oilers, they've had Jake Ottinger's number in the past. I think it's Ottinger who's getting the start. I don't think they're going to give it to DeSmith. If it is Ottinger, the Oilers have had his number in the past, especially in the playoffs the last 2 years. Maybe there's like a mental thing with that too. The Oilers can take advantage of it. For the Oilers now, they are 10-9-5 on the year. They are 4-4-2 in their last 10. The Oilers rank 6th place in the Pacific, and a win tonight would, I believe, put them in a playoff spot, but with all the games in hand that the teams ahead of them have, by points percentage, the Oilers will be out of a playoff spot by American Thanksgiving, which is on Thursday. And we all know the statistics. Teams that are not a playoff spot by American Thanksgiving, only one team has won the Stanley Cup since 1999 when they were not in a playoff spot by American Thanksgiving, and that was the St. Louis Blues in 2019. They were the only team to win the Stanley Cup when not in a playoff spot by American Thanksgiving. The Oilers, they're supposed to be Stanley Cup contenders. They have not played like Stanley Cup contenders this season. Their 5-on-5 play has not been very good. Their defensively has not been good. Their goaltending has not been good. But there are signs that their game is turning around here. Their power play ranks 3rd in the NHL. Their penalty kill ranks 13th. Goals per game, they rank 16th. Goals against per game, they rank 28th, which is not good at all. That is horrible. Expected goals percentage at 5-on-5, absolutely abysmal. They rank 23rd. Shots for percentage, not too bad. They rank 11th. And team save percentage at 5-on-5 ranks 32nd. However, in saying all that, right, it sounds like I'm being kind of harsh on Edmonton and the goaltending and, their 5-on-5 play. They've gotten the goaltending 2 games in a row. Calvin Pickard was stellar against Tampa. Stuart Skinner was pretty darn good against Florida. Just need to work on his rebound control there. And we got a Mochi in the background. Hello, Mochi. How are you doing? She's coming to say hi while I'm recording. That's very nice. The Oilers, as long as they get some stops, that will probably give the forward group a little bit of a boost in morale. And like I said, the Oilers, they're 7-0-1 when they get a 900-plus save percentage this season. That's all we're asking for. Stu, we're not asking for a 920 or a 930 or a shutout tonight. We're just asking for 900 on the dot, and you give your team a chance to win. That's the key here. Now, when it comes to the keys to game, the Edmonton Oilers, number 1, build from the road trip. Yes, try and build some confidence from that road trip. You went 500 on the toughest stretch of the entire season, what will likely be the toughest stretch of the whole season for the group. Like their effort on the road those last 3 games, they grinded a win out against the Panthers. Build from that. You're on home ice now. Feed off the crowd from Rogers Arena or Rogers Place. Sorry, Rogers Arena. Oh my God. You can tell I haven't done a video in a couple days. Number 2, they're going to need some timely saves from Stuart Skinner if they want to have a chance to win. It's not about how many goals he gives up. It's when the goals are being scored. As long as he's making the timely saves, keeping his team in it, that will go a long way in their success tonight. Number 3, get that power play up. I found their power play has kind of struggled the last few games here. Need the Oilers to find a way to start digging in on the power play. The power play could have been a big difference maker against Florida. They could have really made extended the lead at one point on the power play against the Panthers, and they just didn't. I would like to see some killer instinct on the power play. Now, when it comes to the Dallas Stars, they're going to have to be by committee tonight. They're going to have to win and play by committee without Mikko Rantanen. The Dallas Stars as a whole, they have a lot of really good pieces, a lot of really good players. You don't need Rantanen to win a hockey game, but Rantanen certainly helps when he is in the lineup tonight. It has to be by committee. Number 2, they have to start driving the play at 5-on-5. They can't keep getting outshot every single night or almost every single night and expect to win consistently. For the Dallas Stars, if you can take advantage of Edmonton's not very good advanced metrics here, their 5-on-5 play, their possession, they're going to have success. And at number 3, test Stu early. If you can make Stuart Skinner uncomfortable early, you will have a lot of success. Just look at that game against Washington. Stu gave up 3 goals in the first period. The Oilers just weren't able to catch up in time, even though they had that great third period push to try and tie the thing up. If you get onto Stu early, you're in the driver's seat. And the Oilers playing from behind have not been very good at finding ways to come back. Not the way that we've been used to seeing. Now, the players to watch here for the Oilers, I'm going with Evan Bouchard. 3 points last game, +5 rating, +3 at 5-on-5. Jason Robertson for the Dallas Stars, 9 goals in his last 5 games. That's a crazy stat to me. And game note, Evan Bouchard was +3 at 5-on-5 against Florida with 3 assists. That's the 5-on-5 stats. He was +5 overall, but the empty net goals, right? The Oilers are now up to 15-7 in goals, +8 with Bouchard on the ice this month at 5-on-5. Without him, they're down 7-28, a -21. So it just goes to show when Bouchard is on the ice, good things are happening. The team is outscoring their opponent. When Bouchard is not on the ice, the team is not having a lot of success. So Bouchard and Ekholm, they are going to be the keys to the game for the Oilers here. And when it comes to my score prediction, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about this one. I'm feeling confident. I did predict the Oilers to beat Florida the other night on Saturday, and I'm going to predict the Oilers to beat Dallas tonight. Not in overtime this time, though. We're going to go regulation, and I'm going to predict a Matthias Janmark goal. He seems to find a way to score against Dallas. He scored in Game 5 last year against the Stars. So, Matthias Janmark, let's see if he can get a goal tonight. Maybe it's a nice goal. Maybe Connor Clattenburg sets him up. That would be it would be surprising if it happens, but you never know. I would love to see it. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I will see you all in the post-game fan reaction after the game, kind of just going through whatever happens tonight. Hopefully it's an Oilers win, and let's see if they can get the job done. Get another 2 points on the board before they have another 3 days off before the weekend. So enjoy your night, folks. Enjoy the game. I'll see you in the post-game fan reaction. Tell someone that you love them, and as always, fight like a kid. Fight like Ben. Let's go Oilers. I'll see you soon. Take care.